Depending on who you talk to, Pokemon Black and White are either the best of the series or the worst of the series. I think there's a lot of good in these games, and they're only enhanced when you look at them together. Both Black and White 1 and Black and White 2. They give us a fresh look at sprites and animations, good story and character development, post-game, music, and some quality of life changes. So let's discuss these 5 things I think the Unova games did right. Let's begin. The Unova games are well known for introducing an all-new roster of Pokémon exclusive to the main story. This brought a fresh experience for players because they couldn't use the same old Pokémon that they know and love. I kinda wish the series did more of this, but I could also see why people wouldn't particularly like the fact that their favorite Pokemon was suddenly yeeted from existence. And there's also the fact that this Pokédex has some of the ugliest Pokemon I've ever seen in my life. I mean, like, look at this one. Black and White 2 did update this, however. You're able to catch more than just the Unova Pokédex, which is kinda nice when you want to build a team of some of your favorites alongside the new ones. The sprites and animations in this game really bring out the personality of the characters and the Pokemon. Trainers striking a pose, and Pokemon moving in battle make a truly engaging experience, especially in battles. These only improve in Black and White 2, which is noticeable right away. Speaking of battles, Unova also introduced new ways to battle. Rotation battles, where you send out 3 Pokemon on top of this rotating disc thing, and only one Pokemon could attack one target at a time. It was interesting at first, but then I realized it's not really for me. But I do like the concept that battles can take on different forms and have a different flow, and that's really interesting. The other type of battle that they do in this game are triple battles, which basically feel exactly like double battles, but just with 3. These new style of battles appear much more often in Black and White 2, which is nice. What did you think about the new sprites? And what did you think about the new battles? Let me know. The story in this is pretty great, I must say. So long ago, there was a powerful dragon that split into 2 dragons because its friends, who were brothers, could not compromise their truths and ideals with one another. This caused a war between the dragons that ravaged the entire region. The leader of the evil Team Plasma, named Getsis, raises his adoptive son, N, to be able to wield the power of one of the dragons, while at the same time manipulating the public to release their Pokemon under the guise of letting their Pokemon be free. When in actuality, Getsis just wanted his plan of world domination to go as smooth as possible. It's pretty messed up. Now N is also under manipulation, so when he finds you, he's kind of judgmental but also tests you to see if you're worthy to wield the other dragon and essentially become his rival. He's all about releasing all Pokemon and starts a one-man crusade once he awakens his dragon. Wait, that sounded dirty. Moving on. What's really great about this story is how involved the gym leaders are. Basically, Team Plasma will do some evil deed near a gym, and you team up with each leader to intervene, leading up to a climax at the Team Plasma base where all the leaders are there supporting you in the big fight. One of the coolest things ever to happen in Pokemon. Once we defeat N in battle, after we both unleash our dragons... Whoa, wait a minute. After the battle, N learns to not only see his side of things, but also the benefit of multiple ideas influencing one another and changing the world like a chemical reaction. Pokemon battles are a catalyst for that change. N starts out as a naive, innocent, and gullible child, but by the end of the Gen 5 games, he knows that life isn't so black and white. You saw what I did there? Seriously though, I think these are a great title for these games. When we talk about truths and ideas clashing, I think that's just so perfect. N is much more serious and dedicated to his goal of changing the world by hearing out other ideals and truths. Best character in the Unova games, in my opinion. The story continues in Black and White 2, where Getsis never really learns his lesson and tries world domination again, with a whole new Team Plasma. He even admits murdering children is okay. The man has lost his mind. Father of the Year, folks, Father of the Year. Getsis hires Colress, a scientist, to manage the team, but all Colress cares about is studying how Pokemon can get more powerful, so he agrees to join Team Plasma to do just that. advance his research, but in the end we show him that wasn't the best idea. Interesting guy though. He's kinda strange, but he never gave me enemy vibes. We find out later that Chorus disbands the new Team Plasma, so GG's Chorus. Old Team Plasma sides with N and are dedicated to save Pokemon. We do learn in Black and White 2 that the legendary dragon actually split into 3 dragons, and that kind of anchors Kyurem more into the story, which I thought was cool. You know, for a Pokemon game, this game visits a lot of mature themes, I think, and I think that's what really makes this story really good and stand out from the rest of the games. But what about you guys? What did you think about the story? The rest of the characters of the story I feel are well established and developed. I really like the relationship between the rivals. The rivals share their first steps on their journey, which is such a beautiful moment. You really feel like these are your absolute best friends. We even do Discord calls together. Now, Sharon? No, it's gotta be Charon. He's the type of rival that pushes you to be better. He believes strength is everything and nothing else matters. Once he encounters the champion Alder, however, his ideals and truths are challenged and he goes through a sort of existential crisis. In Black 2 White 2, he replaces a previous gym leader and becomes the normal type gym leader, which is kind of amazing growth, but yet he still struggles within himself, saying he wished he could use his real team. And I feel like that's realistic and relatable. Like, why not just use your awesome team and just destroy everyone that comes your way? But him kind of going down to everyone else's level is a real teaching experience for not just his students, but himself, which honestly is realistic because he basically was as strong as a champion by the end of Black and White 1, and now he kind of has to like go down to other people's levels. But it makes sense, especially when you consider that being mentored by Alder, he's going to continue learning and you never actually arrive. You're always learning, you're always growing, and that part I think is a powerful thing. Sharon himself may not like that, but it's a truth nevertheless about life, you know, like we're always learning, we're always growing. Bianca's the type of rival that's more of a support to you. She also has to deal with an overprotective parent and has to break free from that. She then tries to figure out how she can be useful in the world, which I feel is also relatable. You know, sometimes you just don't know your place in the world. You're trying to find it, you struggle to find it, struggle to find your identity, all that jazz, you know? She may not be the strongest or the greatest rival, but she's definitely a relatable one, in my opinion. By the time we see her again in Black 2 White 2, she becomes an assistant to Professor Juniper, and she appears to be self-confident, like she knows what she's doing, which is really cool to see. Good for her. At the end of Black 2 White 2, I took a moment to speak to Bianca's and Sharon's parents, and it was cool to see them being all supportive of their children. So the overall growth and development of these characters, I feel, leave a lasting impression. And I think the rivals in Black 1 White 1 were written really well. However, the rival in Black 2 White 2 is Hugh, who's just an OP trainer with a vendetta against Team Plasma because they stole his little sister's purloin, and he just ended up not being interesting enough to me, to be honest. He's just kind of there for me. Like, I truly think he could be removed from the story and nothing would change. I think people like him just because he has a cool design and an even cooler battle theme. But what did you think about these characters? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Let me know down below. Unova has so many things to do once you beat the game. You can do more musicals where you dress up your Pokemon for a show and they dance. You could also star in movies at Pokestar Studios. None of that stuff was really for me, but you know, somebody could probably get a bunch of hours out of that. In Black and White 1, the post game also included some Pokemon from the national decks, which was nice. You know, people were complaining that there was too much Unova and not much of anything else. But by that point for me, I was so involved using my Univin team that I didn't really care about the others at that point. One thing I was surprised about in the post game for Black and White 1 is that so many trainers had still not fully evolved Pokemon. Like, why you do this, Game Freak? A quick note about Grimsley in the post game, you know, the Elite Four member of Unova. He's got a Sharpedo on his updated team, and I remembered in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, he gives you the Ride Sharpedo, which I thought was a great callback to that. One of my favorite things in the post game of the first Black and White game is probably this jump scare. Now imagine my surprise when it happened again in the second game. I will say her team in Black 2 White 2 felt more like Cynthia. Also in the post game of Black 2 White 2, N will take you through the ruins of his castle and actually give you his dragon. Wait a minute. You can multi-battle with the first gym leaders of Black and White 1 and Black 2 White 2. I had a lot of fun teaming up with the Fire Brother against the other two. You can also do battle in places like the Battle Subway or the Royal Unova. But my absolute favorite part of Unova is the Pokemon World Tournament. Gym leaders from this game and previous games gather here to compete, and it's awesome. There's gym leaders from Kanto, gym leaders from Johto, from Hoenn, and even Sinnoh, all with their respective battle themes and new arrangements. Once you conquer them, you can unlock a champions tournament where all the current and previous champions from previous regions can battle you. All that nostalgia was so mind-blowing. It was really, really nice, and I highly recommend if you haven't experienced it already. I wish there were more things like this in other Pokemon games. Like, imagine fighting all of these cameo appearances on a Switch Pokemon title. Well, I guess Switch 2 at this point. That would just blow my mind. What was your favorite thing to do in the post game? Did you check out the Pokemon World Tournament? What did you think? As much as I love the idea of the Pokemon World Tournament being held in Unova, I think my absolute favorite thing about Unova is probably its music. The soundtrack is definitely one of the best in the series. Here's some bangers. Most people know Driftvale City. The music when N calls Zekrom is so ominous, but so good. N's castle theme reminds me of a classic JRPG. Champion Alder's battle theme sounds like a victory lap. The end credit song goes so hard. Oh my god, like especially the middle part. It gives me huge Golden Sun vibes if you guys ever played that game. Who can forget Ghetsis' battle theme? When Kyurem fuses with one of the dragons, that song that plays is whoa. chorus's final battle theme is pretty good too. The Pokemon World Tournament has amazing rearrangements of previous songs in the series. We've got the Kanto Gym Leader battle theme, the Johto Gym Leader battle theme, the Hoenn Gym Leader battle theme, and the Sinnoh Gym Leader battle theme. And of course, they rearranged the best champion battle theme ever, in my opinion. Gem winner for life, baby. What makes music in Unova even more unique is that it's dynamic, and it's pretty awesome. While a song is already playing, certain events can happen during a song that will change how it sounds. In Accumula Town, there's a band you can talk to that will actually add to the town's theme when they start playing their instruments. At the village bridge, NPCs also add to the overall village song, which is so nice. There's even a guy that sings, and you hear the vocals as part of the town theme. In Black 2 White 2, the speakers in the Verbank gym change volume depending on how close you are to the speakers. And the music will stop completely when you beat the entire band. During battle, when your Pokemon has low HP, the music will change to accompany the alarm sound. It's a small addition that enhances the experience, and by that I mean trigger my crippling anxiety and my incurable trauma. When you're battling a gym leader and they're on their final Pokemon, the music changes and truly captures the hype of the moment. This is probably my favorite dynamic change of music in the games. Did you like the music in Black and White? What was your favorite song? The Unova games bring a number of quality of life improvements to the series, and I want to touch on two of my favorites. TMs now have infinite usage, which saves a lot of headache. In previous gens, you had to decide which of your Pokemon was the lucky winner of the one TM that you got. Having so many TMs also gives you the freedom to build so many more teams, which is a huge plus for me. I like building weather teams, especially sun teams, so having a lot of options for this is such a breath of fresh air. The other small improvement introduced in Black 2 White 2 that was a big deal for me was the ability to quickly reuse repels. Like, you would use a repel, and once it finished, the game would ask you if you wanted to use another one. Not only was this a time saver, but it saved you the headache of slogging through that horrible way items were organized in Gen 5. I think if I had to say anything bad about Gen 5, it was probably the way the bag was sorted. But anyway, what quality of life changes did you like in the games? When looked at together, I think these games bring a lot to the table. I don't think Black 2 stands on its own, sadly, and feels more like a glorified post-game DLC and not a sequel, the way that Gold, Silver, Crystal felt like a sequel to Red, Blue, Yellow. But maybe we'll go into detail about that another day in another video. So what do you think about these games? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Do you not care? Let me know in the comments down below. The next video I'm working on is going to be about the Hoenn region, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thank you all so much for the support. I appreciate you, and I'm out of here. Peace.